This is Dr. Carroll, and this video is about method name overloading. So the compiler distinguishes method by their signatures, and this is a technical term. So the signatures have two parts to them. First, it's their name, the method name, and also the parameter list, which includes the type and order of the parameters. So you can have methods with the same name, but different signatures. How do we get that? We get that by having the parameter list being different. And this includes constructors as well. So when we have methods with the same name but different signatures, we call that overloading a method. Okay, so if it's the name and the parameter list, type and order of the parameters, what does it not include? And so there's two things it does not include, which will help us understand what it is if we understand what it is not. So the first is its return type. The return type is not included in a signature intentionally. Let me show you an example. So let's say we have a get value method in some object ref that we're calling from some class, and we're assign it to an integer. Well, what if we also were trying to call get value but assign it to a double, then we had different meanings and we wanted different values? The compiler doesn't know which method to call in Java. There are other languages that it does figure out, but in Java the compiler doesn't know which of these it is to be able to determine the difference. And you might be saying, well, it's obvious here, right, that which method to call. So what if we didn't have a return type though, and it was calling it, and we had two different methods? Then that would be ambiguous, and compilers do not like ambiguity. And so while this example, you could figure it out, compilers are smart, but if you took away what the variables it's assigning to, then the compiler wouldn't know, and the methods could be different, and so it'd be important which one to call. And so because it's ambiguous, the compiler does not allow it. So first thing that's not in a method signature is the return type. The second thing that's not in a method signature are the parameters names. And that's again because the compiler does not support or tolerate ambiguity. So let's see this here. What if we had some set value method that takes an int and has some body left here as ellipses, and then we had another set value that's an int, but we named the parameter number instead of value. Slight difference, and maybe the bodies were different there. The compiler can't tell, are you trying to call this method with the one that has value or number? It can't tell that based on what is being passed in. What if you're passing a 5 in? Which one is it? And so because of that, that's not part of the actual signature. It doesn't care about that in terms of determining if a method is unique. Let's see a more full example of method overloading. So here, if we have a simple child class with a instance data as a name, we can have a constructor that assigns that name. And then what if we had a display name and age method here? So we're passing in age. So age here is shown as a parameter. And then we're displaying something using the instance data and the parameter. So by the rules of method overloading, we have to have unique method signatures. So we can have a method that's also display name and age, and we could have it pass in a string, and the compiler can keep these straight because it can say, oh, I'm using a double or I'm using a string to call this, and it can keep those straight. Now, I've chosen the same name. That doesn't confuse the compiler at all, because remember, it ignores those in terms of signatures. And we could actually even have still the same body, or what appears to be the exact same body of the methods. And so let's have some driver code here. a main method. We're going to create a new child. Let's give it the name Tom. And then we can call display name and age, passing in a string and passing in the age version, calling the double. Now, because of method overloading, we could actually add in a third method that took an integer, which could be different. And so here it's shown here. Interestingly enough, in Java, with string concatenation, these are all interpreted correctly. And here, Java can keep track of each of those separately and make sure the right method is called. So what we couldn't do now is we couldn't have another display name and age that took a double, a string, or an int as its only parameter. It could if it had more parameters, but not as the only parameter. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it.